And we are live, the SMT podcast, and it is December 6th, the day before my birthday. I'm about to turn 37, bruh.
You old man.
I know, man. I got called old man 3 times today, twice by my wife. Once by my neighbor who I love. He's tremendous. I love my neighbor. So I don't take offense to it, but they're teasing me. They're giving me a hard time, man. So yeah, the birthday's coming up. We're approaching the holidays. People are buying phones. They're wondering what's going on in 5G. Me and Stetson just did the live stream over on his side. Great podcast, great live stream. I want to give Stetson a shout out. You guys can check him out on Twitter at Stetson Doggett. The channel name, I believe, is the same.
It is the
Right?
same.
So he brands himself, kind of like what I do.
It was kind of accidental, but it just happened.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Big shout out to Stetson. Thank you for having me on your show. Just finished like 20 minutes ago or whatever. We also have Zero Call RF, who is here, a staple on the channel. I don't really call him a guest anymore. He's really my right hand. He keeps me level because sometimes there's things that I get excited about and I get out of hand. And he's like, whoa, 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 Sneed, bring it down a notch. Here's what it is. So a voice of reason.
I try.
And a big shout out to everybody who's here in the live stream. Hashtag 2LiveCrew if you're watching this in live. Hashtag replay crew if you're watching this later. And I do see a very strong representation of my mods. So hashtag mod squad. If you got a blue name with a blue wrench, go ahead. We got unlimited ammo tonight, so let it rip. You got trolls, just get them out. We don't even ask questions. Just get them out. We're gonna have a good stream. Big shout out to Dennis making his way over from the other podcast as well. Thank you, sir, for the super chat. He says, Zero Cool, why are you not seeing the spectral improvements from 5G? Even with N41, the speeds are not much better than it was on LTE. Interesting.
So, Dennis, we have like it markets, anywhere between like 40 and 60 megahertz, right? So, we're trying to bump that up to like eventually 80 and then 100. Once the spectrum is bumped up, we have to put clusters of towers everywhere. N41 was only launched in 9 cities when Sprint was first launched it, and it just needs to expand in like other markets, right? So it's just going to take that's what the network build process is going to be, next 2 or 3 years, and you'll be seeing N41 in your area as the years go by a lot more.
Yeah, the channel bandwidth is crucial, for the speed. So I'm seeing 60 megahertz here. There's been a handful of sites that I've tested 200 to 300 range for average on the downlink speed. Not bad, but I know that's not the potential. So,
right.
We're trying to get closer to that 500.
5 to 600 meg mark, nationwide. So it just takes time.
Yeah. I'm patient. I'm willing to wait for it. I'm not going to jump to conclusions and say, oh, T-Mobile doesn't know what they're doing with it. Just give it a second. When they merged in April on the official, I said, okay, you got a year. A year would put it, we'll just call it, and then pandemic. So I don't know. Let's give them till June. Like, let's give them till the summer. If we have questions about the network on N41 in June, I think we should be concerned. But I think we're going to see some markets, namely the top 50, with some pretty sizable speed improvements. So the New Yorks of the world, the Chicagos, they'll be getting huge boosts very soon, if they haven't already. We're going to see a lot, in the top 15, especially in places where T-Mobile has a strong market share. There are certain places where they have a lot of customers. The demographic, they caught traction in some places. They like Miami. That's a big T-Mobile, front hold. So I don't know how things are in Colorado, but I have a feeling, T-Mobile's a little bit on the lower end for the market share. People trust Verizon, right? So there are a lot of customers on that side. I don't know, Stetson, have you done any testing with the N41? Could you comment on what Dennis was saying about speed?
I haven't really. So you guys are probably using Samsung phones, right? That's where you can tell the exact band you're connected to. So I was just doing, with the release of the iPhone 12, I was really focused on that. But I think I need to revisit some of those sites with either the S20 or maybe the Pixel 5 to
Yeah,
try
yeah.
and dive into that a little bit more, get those nitty gritty details that are obscured when you're an iPhone user.
Right.
Yeah, Pete. Yeah, absolutely. Places with a lot of people. I'd say a million or more for a focus of 2021. Because it's a lot of sites will need to be upgraded. As great as midband is for capacity, in my experience, the midband 2.5 gigahertz range is suspect. It's not really great beyond a mile. It's not, which is unusual because our expectation of midband, right? So N41 is 2.5 gigahertz. We've been using PCS, which is 1900, 1.9, and that's really good. And 2.1 and 2.3, we've been using these for years. They're not having the same issues. And 2.5 is not that far off. So that's actually where
Yeah.
I think the improvement needs to come is the range. Because I think with the tuning and the configuration optimizations, we'll see the speed improve, and I think we'll see the range improve.
Absolutely. Yeah, it will. Like the more clusters of towers you get out there, the higher bandwidth, right? Higher the bandwidth, we'll have to turn up the power just a bit, stuff like that. So you'll definitely see that. The goal is to kind of get it to what PCS range wise can do. But then again, like I said before, it takes time, it takes clusters, it takes optimization.
Yeah. The potential is tremendous. If you were to take, I don't know how many towers are in Longmont, right? Like my friend Pete's from Longmont,
Yep.
and he'll tell you like T-Mobile's good there. There's coverage pretty much everywhere, and the speeds are good enough. He gets band 71 in his basement. It's great, so it's
Yeah.
always connected. So if those sites get upgraded with band 41, what happens is once you leave your basement, now you're connecting to some fast stuff, right? Now you're getting the 300, 400, 500 meg, which means, wow, I got all this capacity. What does this do for my video viewing experience? What does this do for my hotspot? What can T-Mobile then leverage with their home internet and their TV options? So it opens up channels for them to do more. They can sell more. In my estimation, I think that's the end game, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Sell more,
Yeah.
get more customers.
Yeah. Oh wow, we already do have a lot of people in the live. Stetson, what did you do? You got everybody up in here, man.
Have a really
Oh
great audience
man.
who really love them. So happy to see smiling faces over here as well.
Yeah, you got the whole gang up in here, man. We got the Stetson Nation and the SMT Nation in the house. Hey, thanks, Dennis. Appreciate the super chat. Can you share how you are finding these towers? Do you rely on Cell Mapper? Also, any news on Pittsburgh? It feels pretty ignored. Okay, so for the first part, it needs a couple of things. Number one, it helps if you use Cell Mapper and the tower sites have already been mapped. So somebody has already kind of pinned them there, right? They've already connected there to the site and it registers that data. So that helps a lot. Otherwise, you're kind of searching in a pile of hay, especially AT&T 5G Plus. It's almost like you have to stumble upon it. Or if it's me, I've developed a trained eye. I know what the CRAN site looks like for AT&T 5G Plus. It's at the very top, they put an LTE CAN, like is how, Zero Cool I've described it. So it's like LTE upgrade. And then it's, they put two sectors. They look like, I don't know how to describe it, man. Looks like two thumbnails on opposite sides of the pole, and they point in opposite directions. So that CRAN site, I know what it looks like. That's what they're doing in the CLE. So when I see it, I stop right away and I test. I take a picture of the site, I screenshot the speed test, and I make a video. Such a nerd. But that's what because I know what they look like. You know, the thing about the band 41 is some people can spot those. They know the size of the antenna hardware. I'm not really that well trained in that. I look up at the tower and I'm looking for, like, I know a low band antenna, what it looks like. They're huge. I know the mid band ones are smaller, and the millimeter wave ones are they look like little boxes. They're so small. So that's like a trained eye, though. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. The Pittsburgh piece, you got to be seeing it soon. Pittsburgh has a pretty good market share for T-Mobile. You got to be getting some N41 there pretty soon if it's not there yet. And that's one of those things where I said, like, people, and this was probably about a month ago, there's going to be about 50 markets. T-Mobile is going to absolutely dominate with speed. They're going to get those N41 upgrades. They're going to kill it. They will be the carrier to have in that market if you need capacity, and Verizon's going to upgrade some stuff. They got CBRS, which is on deck, C-band coming, but that's all time. The 2.5, you just got to get the hardware up there, and then it's ready to go. There's nothing to wait for. It's kind of nice. You didn't miss anything, speaker. Good to have you, man. No radio comments. I'm spotting them all over Western Carolina, just not turned on.
What up, Adam?
I hear El Paso has 70% of the T-Mobile sites upgraded to N41, and none of them are on.
Do we know why that is, or what the thinking is behind that?
I'm guessing it on the RF side, they want to make sure they're well configured and optimized.
Usually it just takes so you either do one two ways. Usually you go site by site to turn on, or you turn on a cluster at a time. Now sites that are existing like that, usually they'll probably do a cluster, right? So a cluster of 10 or a cluster of 20. That's my guess. So
that makes sense. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
We like the cluster approach. As impatient as we are, we like the cluster. Because what's going to happen is, like, so Stetson, you just got the iPhone 12. You got a few of them. You're testing all these networks. You're going to wake up one morning. You're going to go to a place where you always go. You get the Stetson coffee special, the Stetson tea, whatever it is in the morning. And then you're like, what happened over here? My network access is like fast. The speeds are great. Like, what? And it's going to be widespread. What's more meaningful to you as a customer?
Widespread, absolutely. Like, if they're making upgrades, I want it to be all on at once and everywhere as possible. So I'm like, wow, I feel like I just got a brand new phone when really the network just got upgraded.
So imagine you're sitting at the table, mom's cooking Thanksgiving. Do you really want her to bring out the stuffing and then the mashed potatoes and then the turkey and then the cranberry? Nah, man, they lay out the spread, bruh. You want all the fixings up in front of you.
Tastes the best when it's all together and you can make that meal. So
it's a good analogy. I like that.
Oh, man. I'm trying. Look, me and Stetson were joking. We were teasing Neville a little bit about the golf, man. The golf situation. The driver, the putter,
I found another one. They have a paintbrush analogy. I don't know if you've seen that.
Pull up the paintbrush. Let's see if we could do a share screen, Stetson. Go ahead, man.
Share screen. Boom.
Yeah, let's do it.
Feel free to pull that one up.
Yeah, here we go. Okay.
These are paintbrushes, everyone.
What's the business here? What is it? Roller brush?
Yeah, so I guess we can read it. We had a roller brush. Excellent choice for large coverage, quick areas. Okay, if you're painting, you get a roller brush. Yeah, you can do a wall in like 30 seconds. I can see that. Regular brush. Small jobs. Okay, that makes sense. Detail brush. Quick. This makes absolutely no sense. I'm sorry.
But only covers small areas.
I know. Look, Stetson, I am convinced, my dude, they're just throwing stuff at the wall.
They're throwing paint at the wall in this case.
They're throwing paint at the wall.
I think this harkens back to what I said just recently in the other live stream, is that T-Mobile seems to be emphasizing coverage for 5G, right? Where, all right, the low band, big brush covers a big area. Mid-band, smaller brush covers a smaller area. And the millimeter wave detail brush covers a super tiny area. But you really miss out on the network performance, the advantages, which one really feels like next gen, the improvements in latency, network capacity. So yeah, these are just bad. That's the only way to say it, is they're just bad.
You have to create a brand, with what you sell. And clearly they don't believe in the layer cake. It didn't work for them. It did not resonate, because they wouldn't be doing this. Stetson, if something worked, are you going to kill that momentum?
No, you're going to just re-emphasize it. We'll be seeing them in front of the football games instead of Verizon.
Yeah. That's
now they're at
right?
Sherman-Williams, right? No.
Bro, if you have a magenta table in front of a Sherwin-Williams with these types of
No.
awnings and signs up there. That'd be
Oh
tremendous, man.
no. Oh
Oh,
god. Don't
look,
give
I
me
don't know.
ideas.
I don't know what the thought process is at this time. I really don't. I don't know who's doing it, who's the marketing team, but they clearly don't have a direction of how they're going to market their 5G. They initially started last year in 2019 with the push for like reach, most 5G, right? And I thought that marketing was cool because what you're doing is you're telling people, hey, if you want 5G, no matter where you go, here's your chance at it. This is who it's going to be. It's going to be T-Mobile, right? And I haven't been seeing those commercials much anymore because I think it did not resonate with people when they
Yeah.
ran a speed test and they saw what low band 5G really was, right? Like Stetson's data is incredible. He's like, 5G, 30% slower than LTE? Like, what?
Why do I want that? Like, give me back to LTE. I'm
Yeah.
turning that off ASAP.
And people who upgraded on that $1,000 iPhone are going to want to turn off their 5G, bro. They're going to feel like I didn't need to upgrade. I could have just kept my iPhone 8 or 10 or whatever. 10S.
Honestly, I was almost like, I should just get an iPhone 11 for myself. Like, great LTE modem, great performance, and then wait. The 2021 iPhone, that's where it's going to be at. And then even next, in the next 2 years, as the 5G networks become more built out, that's when you're going to be able to take more advantage of them. You'll notice the faster speeds, and the phones will be a lot better. I think the problem here, Sneed, is that the T-Mobile marketing team, they have nothing to go on. Like, all right, what do we got? What's our 5G network got? Oh, it's slower than Verizon. Okay. What else we got? We got anything? We got
but
lower
Stetson,
latency. We got
who's targeting who? You see it on Twitter. Come on, man. You're on there like I am. We post all our videos.
true.
We
T-Mobile.
they're the ones putting it out. Like Verizon's trash and AT&T's
It's so true.
a joke.
That's discouraging. I feel like we should be celebrating 5G, and I feel like T-Mobile as a carrier, they're trying to come across as a little bit more edgy, a little bit more
That's a good point.
To the point, calling Verizon out, and I don't know. In some areas, T-Mobile network is phenomenal. Let's not get that mistaken. But their 5G marketing just isn't there. So I think they should stop marketing and just start building out the 2.5 gigahertz. That's what we all want to see.
Yeah, I don't think you should bash 5G. You should celebrate it,
Yeah, I agree. Dennis, thank you again for your generosity, man. Thanks for all the super chats. We appreciate you supporting us. He said, honestly, if T-Mobile simply improved coverage and speed, the analogy wouldn't be needed. Service either works or it doesn't for people. I mean, put a percentage on it. That's probably true for 90% of the customer base. They, like I said, I described this earlier, is they view 5G as a generational leap in network experience. And if it doesn't feel 5G, customers will question whether or not it's deserving of their money. If you look at what Verizon has been doing with millimeter wave, when you connect to it, it's tremendous. It's not perfect, but the connection itself is unique and different and transcendental. It's not, have you ever watched like the Boston Celtics of the 1950s? Like they dribble great, they pass the ball great. And then you watch like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and these like Golden State Warriors, they're like making it rain from like 30 feet away from the hoop. It's like, and these super athletes, it's like the evolution of tech, right? People have an expectation like today's brand of basketball is more exciting. We're not just going to chest pass it 100 times before the shot clock expires. Like we have athletes, they dunk the ball, they make these amazing flashy plays. It's like, yeah, we were expecting that with 5G, like a big splash, a big game changer. And another thing, and I think Stetson, man, you hit it on the head. The coverage maps, dude. What in the world are these carriers doing with the coverage maps, bro?
So bad. Actually, I think I want to give a shout out to Verizon. I just pulled their map up here. And if you were to look at the Verizon coverage map, they do, in my opinion, a pretty reasonable job outlining where nationwide 5G is, where LTE is. And when you zoom into a city, in my case, I'm in Colorado, so just outside of Denver, you can see the streets. They are building out and deploying their millimeter wave network I think this is really cool. This makes it really easy to find, to test out. So maybe you're out and about your daily life in the city. You notice, hey, I've got an ultra wideband connection. This is phenomenal. AT&T, we just talked about this. Their coverage map is not only slow to load, but you can't actually tell where AT&T's 5G, what do they call it? 5G plus, I believe, for their ultra wideband. So yeah, I want to give a shout out to Verizon here. T-Mobile's coverage map is medium. And I think to Dennis's point from his previous super chat, if T-Mobile just focused on improving coverage in the markets that needed it, I think people would have a much different opinion about them. Because that's the comment I see in a lot of my videos. Like, I recommend some prepaid carriers. If they happen to use T-Mobile for coverage, people are like, yeah, the network is just very poor in my area. Coverage, I can't use it. They can't use it.
Wow.
So that's why they go with Verizon. That's why they go with AT&T.
That's I highlighted one of my rural testing videos. If you've seen it, Stetson, I lost coverage in 2 locations, which is a great improvement from the old T-Mobile. Like those spots without service probably would have been more extensive, and there probably would have been more of them. So maybe like 3 years ago, I might have lost connection 5 or 6 times or 7 times. In this case, it was only a couple. So already a market improvement that they're improved their coverage, but there's locations that need band 71, right? That low band to reach. There's locations that need capacity. Like there's needs. The only thing I'm concerned about, and this is what I was saying earlier, is I believe that the T-Mobile network plan is to increase capacity in these key markets, but I'm not sure about the coverage. I'm almost confident. I say almost confident because anything could happen, but I'm almost confident that if your area lacks native T-Mobile coverage now, that likely won't be addressed for a few years.
Yeah, I could just see the execs in the back of the war rooms thinking, does this look like 6G to me? I don't know.
Yeah. So my concern, Stetson, they kind of did away with their roaming partners.
Yeah.
The USA Comnet, the US Cellulars of the world.
They changed the no coverage to black?
Yeah, no coverage is now black. What's
That
interesting
makes it easier than white to see. Yeah. Okay. I can go with that. No, I'm serious. Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Now they've got a chance to get the Chantel deal done. That gives them coverage in the corners of 4 states. The Swiftel deal would be nice as well to cover up, the northern part there between, Qais. But yeah, they obviously want to serve the larger portion of their customers are in urban America. They're prioritizing Stetson. I just don't know about the coverage issues. I don't know if that's going to be directly addressed anytime soon.
I will say, as I was growing up, I remember I had T-Mobile, and it was very poor coverage. And then they deployed Band 12. And when I upgraded to a phone that had Band 12, I actually noticed a very marked improvement, which was great. But I think this is true for a lot of people that the T-Mobile network just isn't as good in their area, and Verizon and T-Mobile generally tend to provide the nationwide coverage. And Sneed, you've said this a lot. That's why truckers, you ask them what service they have, they're on Verizon. That's where you're getting some of the best true nationwide coverage. Even if it's congested in certain areas, you will have coverage in more places than not.
Yeah, you see all those black areas in California? That'll all be pink and purple soon.
What does the purple represent?
Well, 5G, right?
Yeah, so it looks like 4G LTE is sort of a darker purple, and then 5G is kind of the T-Mobile magenta, or more of a pinkish color, if you will.
Okay. Well, there's some pretty size. So black represents no service?
Yeah.
Wow. Hold on. What? So they struggle badly in the West.
Pretty accurate,
It's really bad in the West. New England got a lot better.
Like Vermont, New Hampshire, Rhode Island.
Let's see. Well,
but their map is it's a nice way to use it.
It's pretty
right?
good. It's pretty
It's really good.
Say so.
You're in
parts of PA, I see a couple areas. There's the Chantel area right there in Appalachia, my dude. That West Virginia area.
Oh yeah, this one.
Yeah, those are Chantel markets. That would be huge for them. They're going to make that deal happen.
Yep.
Check out Ohio.
Can you go to South Dakota real quick? Like South Dakota, the Billings area. I'm curious to see what that looks like.
Okay, because that would be the Swiftel.
Yeah, Brookings, South Dakota.
Okay, Brookings.
Yeah.
There it is.
What
So
is
yeah,
white?
5G. I think that's
Wait, so what
water.
is white?
I think it's water.
Oh,
Okay.
almost. Yeah, probably. Oh, it looks like, yeah, T-Mobile covers that area pretty good, which I knew that they would. Yeah. That's good. All right.
Here's a concern, Dennis P. Thank you again for the super chat, man. Appreciate you so much. The comment built around his customer, as a customer of T-Mobile since 2013, he says he's seen their coverage improve dramatically, but he says that there is degradation, meaning I'm guessing that they've added a lot of customers, so now we're starting to see capacity is needed. So
Yeah.
I think those are just growing pains of a company getting bigger. They just took on these Sprint customers. Remember, Sprint customers were on the Sprint network. Now they're going to all be on one shared network. The capacity migration integration process is going to be key.
There's probably growing pains. I mean, I imagine T-Mobile sort of has to flip everyone over to the T-Mobile network first and then migrate the Sprint bands and frequencies over to their network so it can be truly integrated. So I think it'll just take them a couple years to kind of sort it out, make sure everyone's on the correct network, and make sure all the technology is working under the unified T-Mobile network.
The sooner the better, Stetson.
I'm with you.
Whatever they got to shut down, whatever they got to
Yeah.
migrate. I just wish it was more seamless. I don't think there's any easy way to do it.
I will say their customer service and support for me has been really good. Same with Verizon. And I wish AT&T was better, but honestly, I feel like their website is just so clunky. Like they have a great network, but the user experience aspect is not as top tier as I would say Verizon offers and what I've experienced personally with T-Mobile.
Stetson, we have a request.
Yeah.
If you could show AT&T's map.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm gonna try, but we're gonna see if this loads. Okay.
Oh man.
So here we go. First of all, doesn't load directly, so you gotta click on check 5G availability, and then we got our map. There it is. A little bit slower. One thing I just want to point out while we're here is if you're looking at the AT&T coverage map, and let's say you're like me and you only have it taking up half the screen. Whoa, all of a sudden, where did our key go? Where is it? How can I search for a location? I was looking for I would go to the top bar and type in a location, right? Like Denver. I'm searching the AT&T website. That's a disaster. Where did the key go? It actually went to the bottom of the screen. So it's down here. And this is where the search bar is. So if you're using the AT&T coverage map, you got to full screen it. That's the only way. And I'll just put in Denver, but I'm happy to look up. Oh, right. There's no autofill. So you actually have to search for it. And then you get a suggestion of the different locations.
Another step.
Yep. And now, all right. So this is a coverage map, everybody. This is Denver, Colorado. You can see, well, actually, you can't see anything. Okay, here it is.
This is
We're
great.
getting there. I promise you this will load. I'm in Chrome right now. I'm in the latest version of Chrome.
Wow, it loads that slow, eh?
Yep.
My goodness.
I have fiber connection right now with gigabit speeds.
Yeah, it's definitely not your connection, Stetson.
Okay, there we go. Denver, we had a block of Denver, and it looks like it does have 5G. So there you go. If anyone else has other locations, feel free to submit a request.
Wait, so going on? What's going on to the right?
It loads like half the map.
The right
it's
half
loading.
Of the
it's
city.
loading.
I mean, what is happening?
Well, if we just zoom in, problem solved, right? Oh, okay. We got to reload.
Oh, reload.
Yeah, we're reloading.
So nobody at AT&T, a company that essentially generates $80 billion a quarter, nobody thought of this?
I don't know if they use this, Sneed. I don't know if it's accurate. I don't know if anyone's actually checking it.
Oh my god.
So
yeah, I think it did give up. It's frozen. Let it go. Let it go.
It's not a great experience.
No, it's not.
Say.
Thanks, I appreciate you, man.
That's why I appreciate Verizon's map. when you switch over to that and you can zoom in and you can see this like everything's just loaded. Like it's just there. There's no like the fluidity of the map is
Well, by the way,
beautiful.
Stetson, they improved that. It was troublesome a
Oh,
few
I
months ago.
know. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was trying to do millimeter wave tests and you had to go and select the city you wanted first,
yeah. And then the
right?
street, and then zoom.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
crazy. I really struggled with that in Boston, but they made it when they announced nationwide 5G. They launched this new map, and I really appreciate it. And I think it's probably one of the better maps. I wish I could full screen it. That's not an option yet, but in terms of speed, performance, and search, really great.
Thank you for sharing that, Stetson. Appreciate you taking the opportunity and the time to do that. And R said T-Mobile could clear most of their gaps with Band 71, 6 miles apart. I've seen it done. Even indoor coverage, mind you, Verizon has 3 sites. So, yeah, I've seen Band 71 help in a lot of scenarios, especially in areas where T-Mobile has deployed Band 2 only sites. I think the 600 megahertz is crucial in those areas. Yeah, I mean, supreme improvements would happen. Stetson is in yeah, I'm pretty sure he is.
Yeah, I'm in Longmont, so
You have
we have our
you have the municipal
fiber.
fiber? Okay.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's one of the highlights of moving to Longmont, not gonna lie. Like, I got
Well,
here, I
people
discovered that, and I was just yes, I was all about it. We signed up, couldn't be more happy.
don't you think that that is one of the most underrated things when you move to a new place? Like, you move for the home, right? You move for your living space and all that. But man, if you don't have a good provider, your job, your school, like everything gets compromised, you know? My provider is Cox Home Internet, and they are trash. They're absolutely horrible, Stetson. I'd refer my enemies to them. You know what I mean? Like that's what I would do, bro. Seriously, it's so bad. All right. I think we're caught up in the chat there. So in our conversation before when we were talking about network plans and deployments and strategies, we kind of saw. Oh, we got more. What was Stetson? What? Let us see.
I saw some requests for Fort Lauderdale, right? So Oh, Fort Lauderdale, Colorado. That's my mistake.
It says screen sharing has been canceled. Did
I
you
can see
request that
Fort
again?
Yeah, or I can stop it.
Let me see. Maybe it's just.
I don't even know Fort. We can do. Here, I'll share the screen, and we'll do this one.
There
So
we go.
there's Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I tried searching for Fort Lauderdale, Colorado. I wasn't seeing that as an option, but
No, I think it's Florida is what they want.
yeah. So there you go. Different markets, very different experiences, and that's something to keep in mind. I mean, anytime I'm trying to recommend plans, it's really the first step is figure out what network provides the better coverage in your area, what's going to have the better speed, the better performance. Because if you can't use the service, there's no point in getting a cheaper plan. So you want to get a plan that's on the network that works well in your area, and then it's kind of up to what you need in terms of data speed and performance. I know a lot of people here love getting post-paid priority. That's where you're getting the fastest speeds, you're getting prioritized, you're getting that premium experience. And I know a lot of my audience is really into more of the prepaid plans where you can still get access to the great coverage, but at typically more affordable price points with compromises potentially of features or of slower speeds when the network is congested.
Well said. Well said. I think that encompasses the approach to the consumer. The coverage being identical, right? So you're talking Cricket and AT&T prepaid. The QCIs, and the priority levels of a network like AT&T's, we're looking at the map. I mean, they've completely changed and renovated their network nationally. They've done a great job of improving their coverage and adding the capacity in key areas. I feel like, we could celebrate T-Mobile, what they've done in the last 5 years. In the last 2 years, I don't think anybody's done as much as AT&T. They've covered gaps and they've increased capacity tremendously.
absolutely.
I think they're actually the carrier to have. It's the I mean, obviously everything kind of depends. You've seen coverage issues and coverage maps vary. I always joke it's not China. We've got carriers picking and choosing where they spend their money and deploying, right? So, yeah, I really do. I think AT&T is the one, right? If you're thinking about leaving Verizon or leaving T-Mobile, you got to check out AT&T first. The coverage, the capacity, they've changed everything. If you can deal with the customer care, Stetson, I can't let him go. I'm not giving him a pass. These coverage maps, I don't know what's going on. Why did that just go white again? I don't know. Now we're doing this. Building blocks. I don't know, man. Coverage map
So
for an MVNO like Mint, you're just going to have to look up a T-Mobile coverage map.
yep, that's 100%. I actually like to use route metrics sometimes for they
Nice.
have really good route score reports on their
Yeah.
network analysis, and unfortunately it's mostly consumer data, so they get data points where people run speed tests, but often you can sort of see the coverage and the network performance in your city, and I appreciate that. Okay, so my question for both of you is, who are you using now as your primary carrier for your personal lines, and what would make you switch to another carrier? Or does it not matter because you test them out all the time?
Yeah, I got to be the exception to the rule because I always have a sim with one of them, right? With each of them, or I should say. I've had Verizon forever because I was an Alltel customer, so I was involved in that merger. Recently, I started testing AT&T like within the last couple of years, as well as T-Mobile. In the CLE, you could have either of the three or all three of them. The one thing I don't like is even when I'm connected to millimeter wave, T-Mobile throttles video to 2 megabits per second on my plan. That's
Oof.
frustrating.
Yeah.
Even on the N41 Stetson, where it's 300, 400 megabits per second, I'm getting throttled to 2 megs on the video.
Damn,
That's
you
frustrating.
said this was T-Mobile?
Yes,
Yeah, that's really disappointing as a
that is.
consumer.
So if I was a customer and my video was buffering at 1080p and I ran a speed test and got 300 megabits, somebody's got some explaining to do, right? If I was caught off guard by that, because what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to go with the upsell. You're gonna have to move to Magenta Plus. You're gonna have to pay for that add-on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Verizon to me is old faithful. I never have left my house without my Verizon line. I have left my house without my AT&T, and I have left my house without my T-Mobile. I never go without the Verizon. There's no network outages. There's no coverage gaps. It's LTE everywhere. It's 5G everywhere. It's old faithful. The T-Mobile speed testing is faster. The AT&T testing is faster. It does not matter, though, if there's an outage or if there's a coverage gap. So I have my wife, my baby, my family. We're all Verizon. AT&T has become very similar in terms of reliability. They're creeping up there. They've got my attention, man, especially with HBO Max and these perks and these add-ons.
Yeah, didn't you do a video covering the different perks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
It's
to
big
actually
time.
go back and rewatch that. I mean, I think it's interesting what the different carriers are starting to offer, and I believe I heard AT&T isn't counting HBO Max data against your cap,
Zero
which is
rated.
pretty cool.
No.
Yep, 0 rated, man. That's huge because if you're in an area where congestion is monitored and networks are managed aggressively, then your data threshold for deprial counts. That is a thing. Zero call off. Did you want to comment on that?
I think for me, I have used all three carriers, and I think I agree with a lot like what you said. Like AT&T is it's most capacitive. It works well in really good metro areas, stuff like that as well. Verizon is always will be due to density, the old trusty Steve, due to coverage. T-Mobile has to play a little bit of catch up here and there, right? So nothing wrong with that. It just means that you just have to wait a little bit just to experience what the network has to offer. Um, but for me personally, like you, I will never leave the house without my Verizon line, and then and then I will take my AT&T along with me. So
Yeah.
Yeah, something interesting I discovered. I was working on my website and trying to improve the accuracy with some plan add-ons. I noticed
Plug the website.
T-Mobile's
Plug it. Plug it.
bestphoneplans.net. If you search it, it'll hopefully come up. Global Plus. It's a $50 a month add-on for T-Mobile plans. And this is for international traveling, right? So not necessarily for use domestically. However, one of the features is you get unlimited high-speed mobile hotspot data while within the US. Right?
Yeah.
That was crazy to me. I think this plan, this add-on, and I believe Visible are the only two plans I'm aware of that give you true unlimited hotspot data. Assuming I'm interpreting
So,
that correctly.
yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
But I thought that was
Wait,
really
what is the branding on this? What brand is that?
this is for T-Mobile.
It's the T-Mobile brand.
Yeah. Global Plus.
interesting.
Or
Global.
for Visible, they use Verizon for coverage.
All right. Shannon,
But
thanks for the super chat, and as well as you, Dennis. Thank you guys. Shannon says T-Mobile for the loss. Oh, come on, man. Can we get a T-Mobile for the win, please?
Hey, I said in my video, I believe in them. It'll just take them, a few years to build it out. We'll see what happens.
NR, you are my dude. The fact that that one person didn't know he didn't know he had Disney Plus with his Verizon says more about him than the average person. Most people know they have Disney Plus on Verizon.
I would
Most
hope
people do.
that's true. I feel like that's part of the reason they sign up for it.
But if they were like an incumbent, somebody who had been with Verizon for 20 years, maybe
Sure.
that perk just snuck in there, but
Yeah.
they didn't see it or watched for it. But honestly, I mean, I'm concerned if somebody doesn't know that they have because that's a big time app, Stetson.
It's
The
huge.
Mandalorian.
I'm loving it.
I love the
Yeah.
Disney Plus. The Marvel comics are on there.
So good. So good.
Right. And it's a good app too. Good layout, good performance. Again, Dennis, thank you. AT&T has the best premium plan at the moment. I totally agree. AT&T's
like
Elite plan.
100.
Oh. Stetson, you using that plan? Are you on the Elite?
I'm on Carlos. He gave me a test line, so I'm
How
super
is it?
thankful for.
How is it?
Great. It's I think it's an archived or a legacy AT&T business plan. So AT&T Business Elite, unlimited postpaid priority. I don't think I can use the hotspot on it though.
What?
Yeah, I might. Maybe I'm mistaken on that, but I believe when I went to check for my initial 5G speed test video, I was doing hotspot speed tests, and T-Mobile's really bad in my opinion. They only give you either 3 gigs on Magenta or 20 gigs on Magenta Plus, which is just not enough in my opinion. When I went to test out the AT&T one, I don't think I got it. So it's great, like for the handset, phenomenal, uncapped, like full speed, full priority data, but didn't get hotspot access.
I could tell you it does. I've used months of 80, 90, 100 gigs of hotspot on that same plan.
Wow.
I don't know what's up with that setting.
I'll get that checked out.
Yeah, definitely do because it's a huge perk. Dude, I love it. I mean, I can run Yes Means tablet and my TV down here all on that 100 gigs hotspot.
Yeah.
You know, it's a tremendous add-on.
Yeah. So $85 a month, but it is one of the most premium plans out there. It's a 30 gigs hotspot for the consumer plan.
Yeah, the business that older business elite is a tremendous offer. What a feature set it's got, man. Yeah. Wow. If you switch SIMs without updating IMEI, yes, it messes up. Okay,
Yeah, that
maybe you got to
totally
go in
could
on the
be it.
app and fix that IMEI issue.
Yeah.
AT&T's a little touchy, Stetson.
Okay, I guess so.
Yeah,
I guess so.
it's definitely not your fault. There's no way you could have known that. It's an AT&T programming thing, the way it was
Yeah,
provisioned.
I'm also swapping SIM cards. Like I could have easily signed up with one device IMEI and then swapped it to another. So I have so many SIM cards and so many phones, I lose track sometimes. I'm trying to work on that. One
Yeah.
SIM card per phone. That's how it should be, everybody.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So you're
Yeah.
gonna need a lot of phones.
Yeah, I guess so.
How many you got, Stetson? I got 4, man.
Oh, I have like 8. It's really bad.
Yeah.
It's like
Nice.
so we got 4 iPhone 12s. That includes a 12 mini, 2 12s, and a 12 Pro. Galaxy S20, OnePlus 8. We've got Pixel 5, Pixel 4a, Pixel 3a, and I think that's it.
I have to look. I have a visible line in my 10s Max.
Yep.
I have a Verizon line. It's a postpaid consumer on my Moto Edge Max. Moto Edge Plus. What is it? What are they called? Yeah, Moto Edge Plus. These names are just absurd.
What are they doing?
I know the Pixel 5's got my AT&T business line, my Business Elite. I have one more, the S20 Plus, that's got my Magenta business line in it. And my favorite phone out of all of them is the Pixel.
Yeah,
That is just a great software, great camera.
I love it too.
Yeah, it's
The
great with
package.
AT&T, by the way, guys. Awesome experience.
I think people were kind of concerned about the lower end X52 modem. Do you feel like you've noticed any kind of dips in performance, or do you have any experience with that?
It's a little bit lesser, Stetson. It is. If I had to put a percentage to it, it's 85% of the
Okay.
X55. It's 85%, I can't like make that scientific, but the range is not as good, slightly lesser range for signal on LTE and cellular and 5G. The capacity is also not the same. So if I take that SIM and run a millimeter wave Verizon speed test, standing in a spot, X marks the spot, I'll get 1.5 gigs. And then if I put that into my S20 Plus, I'll get 2.1 gigs.
Whoa. Are you rocking your S20 Plus in the like performance boosted mode?
No, just regular. I keep everything regular, Stetson. Because when you start managing the software side, it changes things, right? So if I boost one, I have to boost the other.
Yep. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
So but I think it's worth it to test that yourself, but just identify, hey, I ran the high performance mode, or I ran battery saver mode, and here's what happened. You just got to make sure, you got that disclaimer there.
Yep.
The one problem I noticed is that the Note 10 Plus 5G that I had from last year tested better on millimeter wave than the Pixel 5 with the X52. So the would that have been the X50 modem? If it was I don't know.
It must have been.
Yeah. But it tested better for millimeter wave for range and speed. I don't know, man. But nobody's going back to buy a flagship from 2019 for 5G. That would be foolish. You must either stay up to date or wait to buy the next generation because, Stetson, you talked about the 2021 iPhone. That'll be a game changer. I agree because it's going to have inter-carrier aggregation for 5G. So you remember how we were talking about channel bandwidth?
Yep.
Now you're going to combine bands of 5G. We've been stuck in non-standalone, right? Where it's like 10 megahertz of N71 and then like band 2, right? And that's all you get. Well, now it's going to be like multiple, bands of 5G, and we're going to throw millimeter wave into the mix. You'll be able to do millimeter wave and N41 and N71.
It'll be so tasty. The Thanksgiving dinner will be served up. We can chow down.
Yeah, the layer cake will be real. You know what I mean? Now we're talking about layer
Have that
cake.
for dessert.
Thanks, Dennis. Appreciate the super chat. The one thing that makes me like T-Mobile is their customer service. So much better than AT&T made the process of upgrading my plan miserable. I was just talking to Tyrone from Tech Life, and he was having hell trying to sort out this upgrade stuff. Trade-ins and all that.
Who is Tyrone with? Was he with AT&T or?
He tests I think all the networks, but yeah, I think he had an issue trying to do an upgrade, and it's hard to talk to a customer care rep. They don't know what to do. They're sending them to the Philippines. Like it's crazy, Stetson.
I
it's
agree.
a pain point. You know?
I feel like, from the network aspect, we do a great job breaking that down and we can respect the network technologies. But when it comes to the entire experience, the package, the walk into a store or the order online experience, the networks do have opportunities there where maybe T-Mobile doesn't have the best coverage, but they can sort of strive to improve customer service and make the T-Mobile experience great, even in if the coverage isn't up to the same level as with some of the other networks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So what I've learned, and I don't know, man. It's just word to the wise. When you upgrade through a carrier, you run that risk. Trade in, adding lines. I mean, you just got to kind of know. I feel like like if I was an AT&T customer and I had an issue with an upgrade, I probably wouldn't upgrade through them again. I would go through Apple. I would try to sell my own and then just upgrade whatever.
That's what I
It's
do.
kind of,
Always buy full price, always buy directly from the manufacturer. If you're a longtime customer, it is possible to get great upgrade deals, but I'm not about that hassle. So I
Yeah.
appreciate just buying direct from manufacturer, reselling it on Swappa, OC Buyback, Facebook Marketplace, one of those places, and just doing that.
I mean, for customer service, I mean, T-Mobile has won the most JD Power customer service awards.
yeah,
Just throwing that
that's
out
true.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been great so far. T-Force, Twitter, I find is often the best place to interact with these companies,
It's
and the
true.
reason is, hear me out. The reason is, instead of going onto the website, opening the chat, starting a chat, like being on hold for an undetermined amount of time, like leaving the window, having the chat opened by a rep. Hi, are you there? You're not there. I'm closing the chat. Going back to the window. No, like you have to start a new chat. Instead of doing that, you message them on Twitter. Whenever the rep gets back to you, they get back to you, and
Right.
then you send them a message. So for anything that's not urgent, I really appreciate you send them a message on Twitter. They'll get back to you when they can, and you can see the response.
Very well said. The reason I was laughing, Stetson, is because I can relate to that experience. That's happened to me. Where literally it's been open the chat, say hello, what do you need? You explain the problem, you go through a bot for a couple minutes. The bot, you finally finish that part. Now you're waiting. They finally get to you. Then you're sidetracked, you're doing something. Oh, you're not here. See you later. Sorry, I had to close the window. Now you're starting at square one. It sucks, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Did I miss a super chat or something? I feel like I missed one. Where did
Uh,
that sneak in? There was a yellow one or something.
yeah, scroll up a little bit
Yeah.
from
Here it
Ruben.
is, Ruben. Thanks, Rubes. Appreciate you. Thanks for the super chat. Great content, Sneed and Company. Loving my Phoenix winter. That's winter, 60s and 70s. Good for you.
Wow.
It's 28 over here right now. So that's what you got going on
Oh,
in
I have to check. It was
Colorado.
like a balmy 50 today, actually. 50 and
What?
55 and sunny. I'm super excited about it. I came from New England. I spoke with my parents today. They're like, yeah, it's cold and overcast and like 23 or maybe 33 degrees. And I'm like, yep,
Wow.
55 and sunny. Yeah,
Wow.
That's
we're
good.
getting in the 60s, low 60s this upcoming week.
This is crazy.
I love it.
My dad has traveled the entire US. He's been in
Really?
every state. Uh, the only one he has not, because his honeymoon was in Hawaii, so he's been there. The only one is not Alaska. Um, he says Colorado is gorgeous. He says it's absolutely beautiful.
Oh yeah.
It's just different than what people think is beautiful, right? Like
Yeah.
some people want to go to the Dominican Republic, right? It's Punta Cana, it's tropical, it's sandy beaches, it's 75 degrees every day. There's no deviation. But what Colorado offers in landscape, what it offers in topography, the fact that is, forested as well as mountainous. It's unique, it's different. And then like the weather from one side of the state to the other is like night and day, like I mean, hey,
Crazy.
a pretty tall mountain range is going to change weather, right? And
It
climate.
will. It will. Yeah, it depends what you're looking for in the environment you move to, whether you're looking for those sandy beaches and that crystal clear water, or if you're looking for more of a mountainous climbing outdoor adventure experience. There's a state for everyone.
Yeah.
I'm in it for 5G coverage. Way better 5G, 5G and gigabit internet. So that's why
There
I'm
you
here.
go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks, Loki. Appreciate the super chat. Only reason I'm still with T-Mobile as a truck driver is because I have a grandfathered plan that gives me unlimited hotspot. I use 384 gigabytes last month. Hotspot, no issue. I game on it all the time. That is one heck of a plan. I think you have that international add-on that came out with the T-Mobile One back in the day. That was a pretty awesome plan. My brother has it, and he won't get out of it. He's like, no, I'm not getting rid of it. I'm not
I'm
going to
okay with this.
Magenta. I'm not doing none of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of those grandfather plans are cool. And the nice thing about T-Mobile is they're not really forcing people out of them, right? Like you can add lines and stuff. They're going to honor that. The only thing I'm concerned about is a couple years from now, does T-Mobile change their tone as they have to build out this 5G network that's very
Sure, yeah.
costly? Are they going to price you out of certain features to entice you to switch out of an old plan because it's less profitable for them to honor and maintain that plan? You know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh yeah. Yes, that's right on about that. The Twitter situation is real. That
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that is the go-to. That is the move for customer care.
I mean, sometimes support will be hit or miss. I remember last summer I was trying to test out Verizon 5G on my Galaxy S20, and I had issues. Like I went to a spot and it said like 5G available, access restricted, and it was because I was using an unlocked Galaxy S20, and Verizon for whatever reason like didn't have it in their list of approved devices or whatever. And none of the reps knew about it. Apparently, I actually needed a dedicated 5G SIM card, and I just went through this whole process. So Twitter is the way to reach out, but the knowledge and expertise of the reps kind of will vary. But yeah, that's the tip. Twitter is where it's at. T-Force is there, and it's just way more convenient.
Visible is great on Twitter. MS, thanks for the super chat. Possible real slimy Mint Mobile stunk Black Friday sale.
I think stunt is what I'm reading there.
Stunt? Oh, my
Yeah.
bad. Stunt. So their sale, I think, was like buy one get one, right? So it was like 3 months of service. You were getting 6.
Yeah, I thought it was great actually.
Oh, tremendous.
Yeah, I signed up for Mint Mobile and actually switched my personal line. I want to say 2 years ago at this point, with a deal very similar to this, and I love it. I think Mint's crushing it. I mean, they have a really great online experience, easy app activation process, and if you have good T-Mobile coverage, I think they are worth considering. And I use them as my personal provider. But by all means, if you need postpaid priority data or you need something like that. But Sneed, you actually had a video where maybe that isn't necessary on the T-Mobile network, where it's prioritized based on activity as opposed or by app as opposed to plan.
Yeah, there's certain plans because really it's about video.
Yeah.
Where we're seeing people's experiences affected is really the video throttle. So,
Right.
if I test my fast.com Stetson, I'm getting like 1.8 megabits per second.
I think that's what I saw too for Magenta, right? Or is that even plus? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think plus you'll get 6.
Okay.
So that might get you to 1080p without buffer. Shouldn't be an issue. But I think if you're paying the extra fee, they should give you what they got.
Yeah. You should get everything.
That should be 50, 60, whatever the speed test is. It shouldn't be throttled.
What's interesting
if you're
is
willing to pay.
on my Mint Mobile plan, I'm on the 3 gig plan, but they don't do anything to my video. So I can do a fast.com speed test and I'll get full speed on my Mint Mobile plan. I'll only get 3 gigs of it, but
Right.
but it
But
will
it's hot.
be
It's solid, right?
it'll be fast. So if I wanted to do that, I could. So I think I don't know. It's just kind of interesting what T-Mobile's choosing to do there.
Zero Cool, what do you think the situation is with that provisioning, that access? How that is?
As far as
So
what
he's
the
running
5G
he's running a
card?
fast. He's running a fast.com speed test
Yeah.
on Mint Mobile, and then he's running a fast.com on Magenta, and he's getting full speed on the Mint, and he's getting throttled speed on the Magenta. what's happening on the back end in
I
the
don't know.
systems.
It's hard to tell. I mean, you're gonna get your priority data on Mint Mobile, right? But
Yeah, right.
on his, I think it could be the plan he's on, maybe on T-Mobile. That'd be my only guess.
So
Maybe.
specifically, so that means the network is built to actually allow it to have more, but the plan is assigning it to throttle for the
Exactly.
video.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Thank you. Shiv, thanks for the super chat on T-Mobile One. Save $40 a month because kickback plus employee. Ah, those are special deals.
I wish I could get those.
I,
Sign me up.
I know. Hey, low key, thanks for the super chat. Yes, international TE, though I travel 48 states. T-Mobile is definitely not the best. Truck stops, Verizon has stores, but not T-Mobile. Wow. So Verizon is even allowing truckers to upgrade on the road. All right, that's pretty cool. I don't
Oh
travel
yeah,
enough to have
absolutely.
ever noticed that. You go into a gas station, they got a Verizon kiosk selling phones. Oh yeah, that's right, Ron. Big auction Tuesday. The problem is
Are
we
you
won't.
planning to have coverage for that?
Yeah, but we won't have news on that till probably January, February.
Oh, really? So you just know we know it's starting, but
Yeah,
we're not going to know the results, the bidding, anything like
Stetson,
that until
they're literally going to auction every license that's available, and it's
wow.
going to take 2 months
Okay.
because they're going to
Wow.
auction the big markets first, right? Denver, Cleveland, New York, LA, Chicago. That'll all be like day one. It'll be like the first PAs, I think is what they call them, right? Partial economic areas, I believe. Or is it partial PALs, private
uh,
access licenses? So the
yeah.
licenses are called private
Private
access
access
licenses.
license. Yeah.
PAs are the locations. It's kind of like county-ish areas.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like CMAs, selling market
Yeah.
area.
Yeah. So they'll be going in priority. The big bucks will be spent early, Stetson. The bargains are in the back end of those auctions, but they're areas that don't have a lot of people. So, you know, what would be a small city? Like some of my speed testing took me out to Smithville, Ohio. Seville, Ohio. Like I didn't even know these places existed. Like those areas, they'd be the bargains at the end of the auction. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
but the license would likely be larger, like to cover more space, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
Smithville. I have no idea how I ended up there, Stetson. I was doing some speed testing and network testing, and literally like corn,
Nope.
man. I
Oh
was it
man,
was
when I drove out to Colorado, I was blown away by the amount of corn. You're just driving down this road, you're flanked on either side of you by fields and fields of endless corn. It
we
was
do the corn
crazy.
thing in the U.S., man. We do
Yeah,
the corn.
we do it.
Yes.
Thanks, MS. Appreciate it. He says I still love Mint Mobile. Uh, yeah, the
I'm
Mint
not sure
Mobile's.
about the
I
sim
think,
test. They just
yeah,
launched eSIM, which is crazy. Limited rollout, kind of in beta only for iPhone users, but um, that's coming. And Visible launched eSIM too, so we're really starting to see eSIM take off with the prepaid carriers. And I'm hoping this lets people try out different networks more easily. So you can do T-Mobile prepaid. You can activate on eSIM with the T-Mobile eSIM app right on your phone. With Visible eSIM, you can test out the Verizon network, see what congestion is like in your area, and hopefully we get like a good AT&T eSIM activation. But yeah, I think that's exciting. I'm really happy to see that. It's been taking way too long in my opinion, but it's starting
agreed,
to finally roll out.
agreed, agreed. I definitely agree there. Javier, thank you for the super chat, my friend. He said, "Good night. What is the best MVNO for unlimited data on AT&T on T-Mobile site? What about Ultra Mobile? Thanks." Okay, so in my
I can probably
opinion,
take this one, but yeah, go ahead.
oh, okay, go ahead, Stetson. I mean, you're the expert. Go ahead. This is you.
So I've got nothing for AT&T Unlimited. I think you actually have to go with AT&T themselves. I think actually Cash Games, I just saw his comment pop up. AT&T prepaid will be the best. I think
Yep.
it's $60 now. I think it's $70 normal price, and with auto pay 60. It's the AT&T prepaid Unlimited Plus, I think is what they call it. That's probably going to be the best for unlimited AT&T data. On the T-Mobile side of things, Ultra Mobile is great if you want to pay monthly. So if you want to pay month to month. Otherwise, I think Mint Mobile they have better pricing for the same amount of data if you're willing to pay upfront, either 6 months or 12 months.
I can't argue. I was going to say it's the prepaid proper.
Yeah.
Because now you can get this discount, even if it's not multi-line, right? You can actually get the auto pay discount, and they run the promo to bring you down to $60. And the network access for AT&T prepaid proper is going to be better than the network access for MVNO.
I think actually that specific prepaid plan is 22 gigs of regular postpaid priority.
And then it's subject to deprio?
Yeah.
Okay. But it's not throttled. It's subject to deprio.
Correct.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, Stetson is the guy to ask. I mean, I try to follow as much as I can. I obviously watch your videos, and that's how I keep up in prepaid.
There's
so many brands.
Oh my, you have no idea. You have absolutely no idea.
I do because I look at your catalog. I'm like,
my website. So the backend for my website is basically a spreadsheet. It's comparing plans, I want to say from like 39 to 43 different carriers right now.
Jeez.
And that's like, I'm not even done yet. There's more. It's
bro, there's a kosher wireless. I don't know if you know about that.
I think that sounds familiar.
There's a lot.
You can say anything wireless, anything mobile. Yep. Sounds sure. Why not?
I'd never heard of Black Wireless until last year. I'm like, where are these companies coming from? Literally, if you have a business license, you can sell cellular. Apparently, you just need a business.
That's definitely not. That's not true. I would not do that. But that doesn't appear to phase other companies.
All right.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to know the business, but man, it just seems like everybody and their mother can start up an MVNO. Yes, tomorrow's my birthday. So thank you to all who have wished me a happy birthday early or whatever. You guys are awesome. Some people say they remembered from last year. I don't know how you do that because I have to remind myself about my daughter's birthday and my wife's birthday and my own sometimes. But I am of the elderly variety, so leave me alone. Yeah, we're definitely going to do a Patreon for that tomorrow for sure. We'll do a pregame Patreon, and then we'll do a YouTube one too. I'm going to wear a tinfoil hat. I will be Alex Jones on my birthday. Hey, thank you guys, man. You guys are awesome. Michael, Adam, Raph, you guys are awesome. Thank you, Josh. Yeah, Shan, you guys are great. Barry, everybody. Yeah, I'm getting old. What do they say? Long in the tooth? Long in the toothus, as they say. Yeah, but they call me the telecom goat, apparently, in some circles. I guess now I'm like legit turning into an old Billy goat. Yeah, we're adding years here. Thanks, Dennis. Appreciate you, bud. I'll probably celebrate with a speed test. I think it's fitting.
Yeah, that seems.
I'll go find a millimeter wave node.
Right.
This is it, everybody. We got it.
Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome. I'll be 37, man, in like 2 hours. So,
wow.
My parents tell me the story. I was born in like a blizzard, snowy roads, nobody could see. My mom's in labor, and I'm just ready and raring to go, man. And, he's got a story. I was like apparently ready to get the show going in the elevator or something. Thanks, Shan. The godfather of wireless. I don't know, man. I'd like to be a godfather of wireless. See, that's the thing. I don't have to be the godfather. I'd like to share the space with others, like Stetson would be considered a godfather in wireless as well. You know, I'd like to be there too. Happy to be there. I'm young. I don't know, man. I definitely feel my age, whatever age that is. You know, I definitely feel the age. I'm the next John Leisure. I don't know, man. I don't skip leg day, so I don't know if I could be John Leisure. You know, he likes to run, but he doesn't like to lift weights. I like to lift weights. Oh man, and I don't really own much pink. I know John's got like an entire wardrobe
set for life. So if you go to T-Mobile, I hope pink looks good on you.
I know, man. Hey, you guys feel good about where we got through in the show? Is there anything else you wanted to cover?
I thought it was a great show.
It was a good
man,
show.
Stetson, thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
Zero cool, man. Me. Thanks for being a part, man. Thanks for always being here. Yeah, it is Pearl Harbor Day, sadly, Barry. That is how my aunt remembers my birthday. She's like, I just got to look at the calendar. Pearl Harbor Day. That's Sneed's birthday. It sucks. It sucks, man.
Nice.
Let's close off this night by thanking Stetson and Zero Cholera for being here. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you so
Pleasure.
very much.
Yep.
Stetson, thanks for letting me on your show.
Yeah, that
It
was
was
so much fun.
fun.
Great to have you on. I mean, it's going to be there for the replay crew. Anyone who wants to go watch that, it's up. Really great podcast or live stream episode. So yeah,
Yeah.
great having you on. Really appreciate it.
Follow us on Twitter, both myself at Sneed Tech and at Stetson Doggett over on Twitter. If you want to, yeah, right there. There you go, Stetson. I do it all the time. We'll definitely be, putting out our feelers for, stuff that's happening in wireless networks, plans, rates, features. We'll cover it all for you. And who knows, maybe every once in a while, me and Stetson continue to build on the SMT Nation. And I don't know what you want to do about your nation. You got to make a name.
Got to make a
You got to
nation.
brand it. Well, I don't know. Like, what I've learned, what I've learned is that,
Nation.
yeah, like you come up with a name for the people that support you and all that you do.
Yeah.
It's not that it's a cult. It's just everybody likes to be a part of something positive. So I developed the SMT Nation. I'm not sure. I think JG Tech Blog actually gave it to me. He called it, SMT Nation. So I don't know if it's something you want to do, but I would love to be a part of whatever it becomes. So let me know when you develop the name, because I want to be like one of the founding fathers. I just want to be a part of that. You know what I mean?
You got it. I will incubate on the idea. Let's see what comes to mind. The surface there.
Nice. Do you have a Patreon or anything, Stetson?
I did create a Patreon, patreon.com/Stetson Doggett if you wanted to check it out. But yeah, I just really appreciate everyone's viewership. The support. My channel has been incredible, and it's been really great joining the SMT Nation as a fellow viewer and someone who enjoys the SMT podcast. So it's been great all around.
Thanks, Stetson. Thanks for all that you do, man. We appreciate all your efforts and your productions. And as a creator, you've done a great job. And literally, I've been watching you for years. So I've literally watched you grow up on camera.
That's a crazy thing. I'm
literally 37. You're still are you 20 yet?
I'm 23.
Okay, I think I've been watching you long enough to when you were literally still in your teenage years.
Yeah, that's
because you've been creating content for like 4 or 5 years, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I literally watched Stetson's video, and you've come your production's incredible.
Thank you.
You do such a good job. The attention to detail, everything is great. We support you. The SMT Nation is with you, man. Let's wrap it up. For the good of the order, we just want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you to all for your donations. You guys are so generous. In these times, you don't have to donate. We appreciate that you do, but it is not obligatory, not at all. So thanks for supporting us. Please like this video, share it to all your socials. Check out Stetson if you haven't already. Okay, he's on Twitter, he's on YouTube. Obviously, subscribe to my channel. I'm the second best YouTube channel there is. Stetson's the best. So, so definitely support us and watch all of our stuff. And yeah, thank you all for everything. Thank you for commenting and sharing and liking and all that good stuff. We're done. 2 shows. We did it. Actually 3, because I did my Patreon show. I hope you guys have a great week. I hope it's awesome. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.